And she was the first of many, many conversions down there. And he said, you should have seen the funeral. You know, they all came to the funeral and they were dressed like, you know, something out of, you know, you've never seen anything like this, out of a fashion shop or something, a fashion parade. And that was the introduction they needed. The people knew who they were, knew what they were about, and the door was wide open. So the Legion began to visit systematically these areas, and what they did, they arranged for retreats. They used to go around and try and contact as many girls as they could, take them away on retreat, and try to sober them up, and then get a firm purpose of amendment from them, trying to get them to change their ways of life. Then he established the Sancta Maria Hostel. He got a government building. Being in the civil service, he had contacts. He got an old building and converted that into a hostel. And some of the early legionaries committed themselves to running that hostel and looking after it and caring for these girls and managing to get some of them to settle down with their boyfriends and to marry, and others then to find work or be reunited with their families. And they're just conversion after conversion followed after that. There's more stories I could tell. I have to kind of stop and move on a little bit, but those early days, the book Miracles on Tap is literally that. Miracles after miracle after miracle. Just grace flowing through this whole area. In the end, this Bentley place, Montgomery place as it really was entirely converted. They managed to wean off so many of the girls and get them to change their way of life. Frank arranged interviews himself with legionaries and with priests who came on a mission. They came to interview some of the women who were running these houses and some of the bullies as well, the toughs that used to run these areas, and tried to negotiate with them to move on or to quit what they were doing, even to get them to change their way of life as well. And many of them refused. But in the end, they had weakened the area so much by drawing away so many girls that the area kind of collapsed. In the end, the police moved in and they just cleaned the whole area out. In the meantime, Frank had on standby many of the poor from the tenements round about to move into the houses that were now vacated. So there was no case of a vacuum. It wasn't just an